House Speaker talks of party supremacy and zoning of leadership positions for 10th House of Representatives. House commences investigation into alleged loss of $2.4 billion in revenue. And First Lady drums up support for Bill on Traditional Medicine Council. Always a pleasure to have you join us on You and Your Reps, where we bring you up to speed on happenings in Nigeria's House of Representatives. I am Victor, as welcome. As interested members continue to jostle for various leadership positions of the 10th National Assembly, Speaker House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila is calling for recourse to party supremacy. The Speaker, in an exclusive interview with NTA, recognized constitutional right of ranking members to vie for available positions, but pointed out the importance of zoning due to the diverse nature of Nigeria's ethnicity.
I am the Speaker of the House. I'm a party leader, and I cannot go against the position of the party or confront my party. What is important for me is a Speaker that I will be proud of. Every single member of the House will be proud of that. This is the Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I know we can find people that can fit that picture, that can picture that in every zone in Nigeria. So whatever zone the party zones, so and that is the only time I can, quote unquote, perhaps show my hand and decide who to support. Everybody that's contesting is a very good friend of mine, but unfortunately that is politics. Our politics is local. This has to be zoned.
The Speaker, who said for now he has no preferred candidate, added that he is, however, interested in the emergence of the best man for the job. Meanwhile, the Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, says investigation into alleged $2.4 billion revenue loss through an alleged illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude is purely a constitutional duty and not an attempt to witch hunt anyone.
The 1999 Constitution, as amended and standing orders, empowered the House of Representatives to embark on this type of investigation. The motive is to determine the veracity or otherwise of the humongous amount alleged to have been lost from the sales of 48 million barrels of the nation's crude in China.
While it is imperative to highlight that these are unverified allegations, the onus is on the House of Representatives as a responsible house of the Nigerian people to carry out a thorough investigation to ascertain the veracity or otherwise.
The investigative hearing, therefore, is intended to give stakeholders an opportunity to shed more light on their submissions, as well as give Nigerians who might have valuable information and insights which could illuminate our investigations.
Testifying under oath, a commissioner from Code of Conduct Bureau alleged discrepancies in the amount of money acknowledged by the CBN as proceeds from the sale of crude between 2011 and 2014.
The crude oil sold in the global destination, where the money went to, the account it was paid into. This is 41 countries. This book, I am going to give it to you to study it and look into it in-depthly so that you will not know what is going on in Nigeria.
The committee, however, invited Minister of Finance, the Attorney General of the Federation, and Secretary to the Government of the Federation for further briefing into the operation of the whistleblower policy.
First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, says it is long overdue for the country to take full advantage of both medicinal and economic values of its abundant herbs. Now, this was in a message to the House of Representatives hearing on an establishment bill for Nigerian Traditional Medicine Council.
It was a legislators and stakeholders engagement for Nigeria to have an effective regulation of its traditional, complementary, and alternative medicine.
There is also wisdom to find a way of attracting huge investment into this particular sector, as well as also to look at it from the perspective of a sector that is capable of generating huge employment.
We are so very happy for seeing this and so happy to hear this in our nation.
We do not want an overlap because a practice is different from when you control the manufacturing unit.
The lawmakers are optimistic that the bill has the expected capacity to improve on the Nigerian healthcare system.
This kind of service has been rendered should not be left unregulated.
The bill, key players agreed, if passed into law, will be a major paradigm shift to achieve a standard universal health coverage.
And later on, you and your reps engaged Deputy Chair of the House of Representatives Committee on Health Institutions, Samuel Adejare, on the import of the Nigerian Traditional Medicine Council Bill.
We allowed the orthodox medicine to really overtook and subjugated our own form of medicine to the background, to the oblivion, not even background. We're not even noticing it anymore. And that is the medicine that our forefathers were using, even before these white people came. And you can't tell me they were not treating anything. There are fantastic observations. I'm a medical doctor, orthodox medicine, that we were taught in orthodox medicine. That if not for the importation of the ways of life of the Oyinbos, there are some diseases we should not be having. You know, so if you look at other meaningful places where they really have, you know, passion for their traditional medicine, it's not a source of revenue generation for them. Egypt is one that is very close to us. I'm telling you, the next 1 month, you'll be seeing Egypt herbal medicine all over the place. Because our people have started catching up on it. It's a very effective group of medicines, you know, easy to use, well packaged, with simple instructions. Some of them are even made into tea. And they are herbal medicine, they are herbal drugs. And mark you, most of these are drugs are made from plants. Tetracycline from plants, penicillin, all of them, most of them are made from plants. Some of them are synthetic, fine. But the ones that are very plant-based are the ones that the side effects will be minimal. Those synthetic are the ones that have very bad side effects. So what this bill is trying to do is, look, we have a lot of these traditional medicine people coming up. There is a department in the Ministry of Health, it's traditional medicine practitioners. You understand? They are there. They are a whole department for them. And we now have a lot of them out there. And we know a large percentage of the population are still going to them. And there's nothing you can do about this. Because it is the most easily accessible one to those people at the grassroots. They don't need to they use their abode for their practice. They don't need to build big hospitals or anything unless, from what we are trying to do now, where we all catching on it, the government is going to be forced to build hospitals that will be basically traditional or traditional coexisting with the orthodox side by side. So that there is no need of saying, okay, this makes this disease. Well, you know, in some hospitals, they will tell you it is not orthodox medicine. that you should carry the person to your home and go to all these herbalists. Why don't you bring the herbalists into the hospital? Cases like that, they don't need to go to them. Let them to be practicing herbals outside there. That's how China has broken through all those barriers. This law is like their own council that can register them and monitor them. Because when you leave them, they will just be doing whatever they want to do. This council will make sure that they practice traditional medicine in the appropriate way to meet world best practices. You know, that's one problem with traditional medicine has in our place here. There is no dosage. This one say drink a whole cup. This one say drink half. This one in Lorry is adding. All these big bowls they used to take kogi. They would say take a bowl of that. You know, there will be standardization and there will be research, you know, with this bill. This bill is like we have the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. It regulates, promotes, review, and, you know, monitor them. This is the same. That is the same thing this will do for traditional medicine practitioners. There are about 3 or 4 homeopathic associations that came there today. I don't know how they get registered, but I know that some of them are not registered. If you now tell them to form one homeopathic association, it will be trouble. But with this, they will be forced to, because there won't be need for that association. We only have one Nigerian Medical Association. It's the whole body in orthodox medicine. Any other association is a branch of NMA. The time is now. This law, this bill, if it comes to be a law, will help them to do that.
The phrase supplementary budget is our focus on the legislative terms and tools segment. Now let's turn to Chair of the House Committee on Rules and Business for definition.
For example, if the budget was premised on, say, $80 per barrel, and suddenly there was an increase or decrease. If there's an increase in the price of crude, now the executive now review its priorities. Now that there are no more money now available, it will change its priorities and then submit additional requests to the National Assembly. That makes it supplementary. Or it may be otherwise. If the budget was premised on, say, $60, and now petrol is selling for $40. So government will now also change its priorities to make it more realistic. It will now bring a supplementary budget, now to change its priorities to say that, okay, fine, the previous budget was premised on $60 per barrel. Now petrol is selling $40. So we are not doing this, we are not doing this, we are only going to do that. Because once it's an appropriation act, it has become law, and if you violate the law, it has serious consequences. So the government will now quickly say, okay, because it's an act, we've changed our priorities. So give us another appropriation act in line with the present reality. So it will go through the first reading, second reading, it will be debated and then passed. Then it will supplant the previous budget so approved.
And with the 10th House of Representatives now only weeks away from inauguration, we continue last week's conversation with Marcus Onobun, House of Representatives member-elect for Esan Central, Esan West, and the Igwebe Federal Constituency of Edo State. He spoke on a wide range of issues, including meeting of minority parties in the soon-to-be inaugurated 10th House.
I am coming to National Assembly to be a vocal voice to champion youth advocacy programs, youth inclusiveness and youth mainstreaming in Nigeria, as well as women development. I have spoken in different fora talking about women development, giving women that equal opportunity in all areas. Some people have argued, you know, are you going to push for this 35% affirmative action, or you are going to push for 40% or whatever? For me, I think that that is even limitation on the part of the women. But what we are pushing for is that women should be given equal opportunity without any form of discrimination in all areas. Why do we have political parties today, and amongst all positions, only one position of that of a woman leader is zoned to a woman? Women should be able to come out to as well become chairmen, secretaries, and other positions in the political party. And once we start this social re-engineering process, you know, within our community from the ward level to local government through states and federal government, women too will not have that opportunity to come into governance. But once that is done, I'm sure that their capacity would have been enhanced and that they will be able to become anything in the land, including the #1 position in the land. So I've chosen to take these three major areas: food security, youth development, and women inclusion in politics as my priority areas. And of course, I'm very open to every other suggestion from my colleagues, any policies and programs that will guarantee security, peace and development of our dear country, Nigeria. I'll be here to do all that we need to do. And I believe in three major points in politics, which have to say that, look, you have to be very much accessible, which I want to make myself to be, as well as being available and visible. I want to be visible to Nigerians, make myself available and accessible in order to carry out all that I need to do. I understand that this job that I'm elected for is not a part-time job, it's a full-time job. So I'm not going to, you know, give it some kind of part of my time, but rather I'm going to give it my full, you know, attention to do all that we need to do to see that the 10th Assembly is not just seen as the other assemblies, but rather the 10th Assembly will be seen as a unique one, and that will be able to churn out laws, you know, that will help Nigeria to develop. We had our meeting of the minority caucus of the 10th Assembly, those members elect, both old and new. And one thing that was taken out of that meeting was the fact that we called ourselves the greater majority. The greater majority because today, you know, we have about 161 elected members of the National Assembly from the APC political party, and every other member, which is larger in terms of numbers, you know, have more numbers. But the fact is that we have rules, and we have a guiding principle, which is the Constitution. The majority party today, without missing words, is the All Progressive Congress, followed by the PDP and the Labour and other political parties. But what we're trying to talk about is that, you know, in unison, in strength, coming together, that we form the greater majority of the House. So we want to be heard, and we want to be part of choosing the leadership of the House. We don't want to leave it to the All Progressive Congress alone. And we also understand that we must have some legislative, executive friendliness and cordialness. And we believe that by the grace of God, that an APC person of the northern extraction will be the Speaker of the 10th Assembly. Even though we have quite a number of persons vying for this speakership position, but we form a very reasonable number that can sway votes. And that number, we want to utilize it in such a manner that we want to take a trusted leader that will be able to put action to his words. So we don't believe that having elected the speaker can turn things around. We are beginning to profile everyone. We have assessed them. In the next few weeks, we'll be coming out, we'll be taking a clear position as to where we're going. If you check the crop of leaders who have come to 10th Assembly, you'll see that it's no longer business as usual. Before now, you see that it's basically a two-party system where it looks as if it's only the bourgeois that have the opportunity, who have the wherewithal to get party tickets, you know, and come to National Assembly, and you just have the majority and the minority party. But today, looking at the number of parties we have in the 10th Assembly, today we have the APC, the PDP, the Labour, the NNPP, the ABGA, the SDP, the ADC, and the YPP, I guess. You know, these are people whom the Nigerian masses had reposed their confidence. And because of the wide wind that blew on the 25th of February during the last presidential election, Nigerians have come to the reality and the realization that, look, we must have to be on the part of the people. And the only way you can show that is that, look, you have to come to the National Assembly and do the needful and let Nigerians feel your impact. So rather than everyone coming to think of how many committees or what chairman of committee you are coming to do, everybody, I could see, you know, from my interaction in the last few days, I could see that everyone is on their toes, thinking, making researches to think of how to make meaningful contributions to the 10th Assembly. And above all, I also see that in the next few weeks, we'll be choosing, you know, a leader, a detribalized Nigerian, a man who believes that, look, we are at a time when Nigerians need the unity more than ever before, a man who will be able to, you know, relate with everyone regardless of your background and your political party. And having chosen such leader, I want to believe that 10th Assembly will be that assembly that everybody will reference in the future to say, oh, until we had the 10th Assembly, there was no remarkable, you know, changes that had to do with the National Assembly. So I'm very confident. I know of myself and I know of a few others I've interacted with. But going forward, we'll begin to identify ourselves and know that we are going to make very meaningful impacts. I can serve in whatever capacity to making sure that Nigeria becomes a greater place. So regardless whether my party is in the majority or not, I will make myself available for the services to Nigeria.
We'll certainly be holding him to those last words. And that's where we leave it on you and your reps for this week. Many thanks for watching. I'm Victor Azu. Join us again.